Ready? Yashimasu. So. Hey, side to side. Ear to shoulders. Hey, Reho. Circle side. Way. Circles the other way. Hey, arms. Wow. And your arms back. And stretch one side. And the other side. Cross one side. Cross the other side. Open and cross. Lower your hips, engage your core muscles, and use your spine. Circles. And dive. Circles. Hey, Reho. Both sides. Tenchi. Yoko. Ki. Ko. Ki. Ko. San. Ki. Ko. Hey. Hey, your knees, front to back. Circles one way. Circles the other way. Down. Up. Up. Your toes. Up. The other side now. Down. Hey, breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Go. Keep. Go. Hey. And your hips. Open your legs and squat. Feet to one side. And pivot to the other side. Your toes, raising your head. Hips up. And your spine up. And your hips. Tight. Both sides. Side. And a bit lower. Side. Toes up. Change. Arms in front. Change. Over to one side. Pivot. Over to the other side. Open both legs. And hands down. Forward and up. Back stretch. Bring forward again. Hips up. Backwards. Hands up. Open to one side. Over to the other side. Hands down. Open forward. Hips down. And hips back. Forward again. Hips up. Backwards. Hands up. Open to one side. Open to the other side. And hands down. Forward. Hips down. Hips back. Another one. Forward. Hips up. Walking backwards. Hands up. Open to one side. Open to the other side. Hands down. Forward. And hips back. Okay, turn to one side. Turn to the other side. One side, the other side, one side, and the other side. Hey, side to side. So, caralao. Hey, the other side. Back. Hey, legs inside. And outside. And breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out. One more time, breathing in, breathing out. Breathe side to side. Hey, you look at me. Knee. And cheek. Roll. Rock. Switch. Match. You. All the way up to your knees. Switch. And stretching forward. Knee. Stretching forward. Back. Forward. Cheek. Rock. Switch. Hatch. Good. You. So, standing up, please. Hey, Funai-kogi. Hidari hand Minokai. Foot, align your hips, engage your core muscles, hands in front. Hey. Hey, ho, yeah, 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 ho, Hey, please remember that it's very important to start with a good shisei, with a good posture, and then focus mostly on hinging from the hip as opposed to curving from the shoulders, okay? It's more important. Sometimes we curve from the shoulders, if we do a lot of energy, it's very important to try to come into a good shisei. Not a hyperextended shisei, so not too much back, but come back into a neutral position with your back in a good shisei, okay? So let's do this Funai-kogi a little bit slower. and just pay attention to return back into a good Shisei position, forward, back into a good Shisei position, okay? So let's pay attention to your Shisei, okay, on this one. We're going to do a little bit slower on this. Hey, hish. Yee, sa, 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 yee. Cool. All right, so one thing that we did during this week, just hold on a minute. One thing we did during this week a couple of times was our Reho tenkan exercises. You know, our stepping and turning. So Reho tenkan, double preparation, or Irimi tenkan, is when we enter and turn. Now, the action of the feet is reasonably simple. It's action of stepping and turning, stepping and turning. Okay, once again, we always need to remember that, you know, one thing is to pivot, one thing is to turn. Okay, have a clear differentiation on our minds about that. The other thing that the Reho tenkan exercise helps to remember is that all our movements, we begin in hand-knee, move in hand-knee, and finish in hand-knee. We begin in hand-knee, move in hand-knee, and finish in hand-knee. The mistake of missing hand-knee positions you know, at the beginning or in the middle or at the end of our techniques is a common source of problems with the technique, and it's a common source of confusion within the technique. So it's very important to remember, you begin with a hand-knee, you move in hand-knee, and you finish in hand-knee. If you kind of have the habit of moving in and through the technique with hand-knee, then confusion of the technique it's reduced considerably. So okay. So anyway, so that's with regard to the feet. Now with regard to the hands, okay, we do 4 basic motions of the hand. One is when we reach and turn, reach and turn, reach and turn. The second motion is when we focus on the front and back of our center, front and back, front and back, front and back, front and back. The next one is when we focus on the use of our arms independently. One arm, second arm, 3 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last one is when we use our arms together. Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so those are the 4 basic motions that we practice with our Reho tenkan. The first 3 are reasonably vertical because the spine is not moving a lot. You know, you enter and you turn, okay, you move your hands, you know, in opposite directions, front and back of your center. You use your arms independently, 1, 2, 3, 4. But then on the last one, because we're using our both hands at the same time, then we can focus a little bit more on the movement of our spine. Each knee, each knee, each knee. Okay, so using the movement of it. Okay, so we're going to do 4 sets of 10, one set of each of the 4 different use of the arms, repeated twice. Okay, so just stay with me. Okay, left foot forward and left foot. Each knee, 10, 3, 4, 6, Hatch. Good. You. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Gu. Ru. Sich. Hatch. Good. You. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Gu. Ru. Sich. Hatch. Good. You. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Gu. Ru. Sich. Hatch. Good. You. Hey, relax. Okay? So remember, these, just what we do the next set, these set of actions with our arms, okay, perform a role in different moments of techniques. For example, in the action when you step and turn, any technique that requires parrying, for example, let's say ski, ski kotegaeshi, right? You may parry the ski and turn. You're going to parry the ski and turn. So ski kotegaeshi is an exercise that will require us to know how to parry and turn. Right? So that's used, for example, in that technique. The action of moving front center and back center, we'll do it in a minute. We did it recently with Reho the Kubidori. Okay, Reho the Kubidori. One goes to the front, one goes to the back. Reho the Kubidori. One goes to the front, one goes to the back. Reho the Kubidori. One goes to the front, one goes to the back. So it's our awareness that it's okay for one arm to be at the front, one arm to be at the back. One at the front, one at the back. Okay? Independent movement on arms, for example, that one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you think Shominuchi Kaitenage, you parry, you cut the head, then you proceed to Kaitenage. You parry the shomen, you cut the shomen, you cut the head, and you proceed to Kaitenage. Right? So in Shominuchi Kaitenage, you need independent action of hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? And then the last one, obviously, when you raise both hands and cut, that's possibly the most common action that we have in many techniques, right? So you can think of Irimi, both hands, you raise both hands and continue, okay? You raise both hands, you cut the person down, you raise again and continue. So Irimi is a classic thing when you use both hands pretty much at the same time, because they have to meet the person at the same time, and then you proceed to take the person down. So this configuration of arms, 1, passing, 2, back and front, 3, independent arms, 4, both hands at the same time, are commonly used in pretty much all the techniques that we have. So that's why it's very important to be super familiar with them, because you know what, that's the basic set of moving your arm. You don't want to be thinking too much about that when you're doing the technique. Okay, so, all right, next set, please. Let's start again. Ich, Ni, San, Shi, Gu, Ru, Sich, Hatch, Ku, Yu, Ich, Ni, San, Shi, Gu, Ru, Sich, Hatch, Good. You. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. Gu. Ru. Sich. Hatch. Good. You. Ich. Ni. San. Shi. So it's very important to try to repeat as many times those kind of exercises, and then become very familiar with them. And as I always say, with that exercise of Reho tenkan, it's important to have it clear in two directions. Let's say one direction and two directions. And if you want to then start playing with four directions, three directions and four directions. So the basic idea is that you start in a two-directional mode. Okay, 1 and 2. Once you feel comfortable with that, you can add 3 and 4. Once you feel comfortable with that, you can add 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You add your diagonals. Okay, so that's a very basic framework of two things. Ude Sabaki, so the arms moving in different configurations depending on the exercise. And number 2, eventually the displacement of your feet in multiple directions. First 2 directions, then 4 directions, then you break it into 8 directions. So progressively you can unpack that exercise as much as you want. All right. So another thing that we were working on a lot during the week was Reho Kubidori, Jiuwaza, and Morote dori Jiuwaza. So we practice a few things on those 2 elements. Possibly the thing that we practice to start with, Reho Kubidori Jiuwaza, as I say during the class, the basic idea is to study your basic types of action, your entry, your turn, your pivot, your absorption, your internal movements and your external movements. So we call that Irimi, Soto Tenkan, Tenkai, Tenshin, Uchi Tenkai, Soto Tenkai. So that's the basic framework because those are the foundational movements of our techniques. And then, especially with Morote dori, you start practicing levels, upper level, lower level. Upper level, lower level, because there are actions that happen always on the upper level, and there are actions that sometimes cut down into the lower level, and then you come on. So let's start with Reho Kubidori, okay, and then Uchi, okay, Uchi Kai. So in this case, your 2 hands in front, okay, you're going to step in, 1 at the back, 1 in front, and then you're going to, okay, so Uchi, you're going to step in, pivot and cut. I was having a bit of fun with Alex Rojas yesterday because he was moving the way he was moving with his hand for some reason. I think he was saying, in order to help him with his vision, instead of having his hand in front of his head, he was putting his hand on the side of the head. Even for Ikkyo, coming here, he would put the hand on the side of his head for Ikkyo and then attempt to perform a movement still connected to the body, but kind of on the side of the head, as opposed to in front of the head, which is the most correct alignment in order to have your spine fully behind it. So for this exercise, okay, 2 hands, stepping in, pivot, object, or if you're using a tanto or a tool in front of your head, and coming down. Okay, to the side, okay, opening, stepping in, pivot. It's very important that when you pivot, the other hand consciously comes to the back of your body, okay, that places itself there, and in front, and, okay, so Uchi Kaikenage, Uchi Kokinage, opening, stepping, pivot, consciously putting the hand behind your body, and usually open, pivot, and behind, open, pivot, pivot, so open, pivot, and down, open, pivot, down, open, pivot, down. Probably the most common issue that we have with that technique is the acceptance of having our hands behind, okay, behind this position. So just remember that when you do, for example, medium level turning, sometimes the hand touches the center of gravity in front of you, and then from that position you move. It is not different when your hand touches the back part of your body and then moves. You are ideally still connected to the same idea of the center, in the front of your body and the back of your body. Okay? So the most difficult thing is to consciously put that hand behind. That can be for different reasons, and this is something that you have to explore yourself. One thing may be
the habit of always having hands in front. That's fine. Another thing may be that your shoulder is a little bit stiff, that there is a lack of mobility and a lack of, capacity of the shoulder to naturally move into this position. Right? So you should be able to scratch that. Right? So if your shoulder struggles with mobility towards the back for whatever tension or condition, then your arm is not going to naturally want to do this. Your arm is going to resist that action and is perpetually going to be wanting to be in front. So anyway, so just check what it is. It may be a matter of habit, or it may be a matter of a physiological blockage. So, relax your shoulders, push them back, relax your shoulders, push them back, and then use your shoulder to the back. Your shoulders back, pull your back. Shoulders back, pull your hands back. Shoulders back, pull hands back. Okay? So just explore what is it. Is it a habit or is it an actual restriction in your shoulder? Okay? So let's do 4 more. Open, step, pivot, cut. To the side, open, step, pivot, cut. Open, step, pivot, cut. Open, step, pivot. 2 more. Open, step, pivot. 1 more. Open, step, pivot. So that's Uchi Tenkai, or the way of going inside and doing a projection. Then if we practice the same thing but with Soto Tenkan, okay, same thing, hands in front. Remember, our hand in a circle this time, okay, just not turning, not totally turning like usually Soto Tenkan is, just with a turn. In this case, the hand goes outside the body, turns and cuts. Hand goes outside the body, turns, cuts. The hand makes a circle, hopefully ideally followed by or created by your hips, by the hip moving, circle, turn, and 2 hands, circle, turn, cut. 2 hands, circle, turn, cut. 2 hands, circle, turn, cut. Now, the most common confusion, I don't think it's a mistake, but it's just a lack of clarity in our movement that happened with Soto Tenkan. Again, if you imagine Soto Tenkan Kaiten again, for example, which is how we learn this movement. We typically Katate Dori, Soto Tenkan, stepping down, head, like that. That's how we learn this movement. The most common lack of clarity on what we're doing is if the Soto Tenkan is followed by a pivot, then a step back, or if the Soto Tenkan is a turn. Okay? Now again, I don't think there is a terrible problem either way. It's just important to have clarity of which one are you doing, right? Are you open? Are you turning? Are you open? Are you pivoting and then stepping back? Or even, are you just pivoting and then moving forward? So, so typically the way I demonstrated in the classes has been with a turn, okay? So enter 2 hands, making a circle, turning, and cut. Enter 2 hands, make a circle, turn, cut. 2 hands, make a circle, turn, cut. 2 hands, make a circle, turn, cut. Okay? So again, are you turning or are you pivoting? And more importantly, what has been demonstrating in the class, is the person doing a turn, is doing a pivot, or it doesn't matter, It may not matter. The person demonstrating the technique in the class may do sometimes turns, sometimes pivots, which means, okay, that means that that's not important, something else is important. But, don't take it for granted. Don't say, okay, this person just went around, I have just to turn around and now do my thing. No. Maybe the person did, a turn, and there is a lesson on that for some reason. Okay? So let's do it again, please. 2 hands, make a circle, turn, and cut. 2 hands, make a circle, turn. 2 hands, circle, turn, cut. 2 hands, circle, turn, cut. Okay? So that is exploring
Uchi Tenkai and Soto Tenkan with Reho de Kubidori with 2 hands. Right? The other thing that we did with Reho de Kubidori was to just basically explore your Irimi, Ripo, okay, Irimi, Ripo, Irimi, Ripo, Irimi, Ripo, and then absorbing. So, absorb. Keep talking like that. Absorb. Absorb. Okay, so remember in the absorption exercise, you basically step back, and your partner, you have to be careful with this, your partner is going to go towards the direction of the foot that you just took down. So it's important to kind of direct your partner in that direction. So step back, your partner is going to go this way, right? The other thing that is important with that exercise is to remember to not leave the hands here, because if the partner, for whatever reason, keeps holding and pulls you, then it's not a good position to be. Make sure to continue your hands into a circle in front of you. Okay? So, Ryu, Irimi Nage, Ripo, and then absorbing for kokyu nage. Enter, got, slide, enter, got, slide, enter, got, slide, enter, got. This time, stepping back, absorb, stepping back, absorb, step back, absorb, stepping back, absorb. Okay. Now, talking about your shoulders, you know how locked or free your shoulders are. That kokyu nage is really good to focus really strongly on the shoulders, really strongly on the shoulders, really making sure that those shoulders absorb, turn back, and then stay really short, turn back and stay. So let's do it 4 more times and see if you can focus on your shoulders, making them roll back. You know, careful that you're not only using your elbows, but you're engaging your entire shoulder and upper back muscles in the action. Like if you were kind of in the rowing machine on the gym a little bit, shoulders and upper back muscles. Okay, so stepping back, shoulders, forward. Stepping back, shoulders, forward. Stepping back, shoulders, forward. Stepping back, shoulders, forward. One more, stepping back, shoulders. Hey, all right. So, entering and absorbing, you know, Uchi and Soto, you know, for we practice a lot of that during the week with the Reho de Kubidori. And then the last one will be Morote Dori. Okay, Morote Dori, you can practice the same ideas with Morote Dori, okay? Entering, absorbing, turning, pivoting, working on the inside, working on the outside. But then the other thing that Morote Dori gives us quite clearly is our capacity to move in 2 levels, because both arms are holding the same arm, so they are both equally accessible at any point. That's why Morote Dori is a good thing to practice 2 levels, because if you keep things in 1 level, 1 arm will be available, and if you take things to the lower level, the other arm will be available. So it's very easy to play, you know, practice your level exercises with that. So first thing that we did was to turn and to keep your hand up. Okay, so to turn, enter, turn, open your hip, keep your hand at the level of your eyes. Enter, turn, keep at the level of your eyes. Enter, turn, open your hip, keep it at the level of your eyes. Turn, open your hip at the level of your eyes. Enter, turn, hands at the level of your eyes, keeps moving at the level of the eyes. Okay, hand begins at the level of the eyes, turns at the level of the eyes, opens at the level of the eyes. Begins at the level of the eyes, turns at the level of the eyes, opens at the level of the eyes. Eye level, each, knee, San, Chi, Go, Rock, Sich, Hatch, Use. Right? So that was exercise 1, where things stay at the level of the eyes and techniques evolve from that. Second action is when you begin at the level of the eyes, turn at the level of the eyes, but then open at the level of the hip. You begin at the level of the eyes, turn at the level of the eyes, open at the level of the hip. Eyes, eyes, hip. Eyes, hip. Okay? So begin at the level of the eyes. That's very common for Morote Sensei's training because he always begins, remember, Shinso Karai. He always begins with his hand and then into your body at the level of your eyes. He never begins at the level of his hips. He always begins, boom, towards your face, towards your head, and typically he continues in that action, and then depending on who he's practicing, sometimes he changes level or maintains level. But the first, let's say 2/3 of that exercise, entering and turning it, will remain at the upper level, and then the last third just change depending on where it is. So, okay, so enter at the level of your eyes, turn at the level of the eyes, open at the level of the hip. Eyes, hip. Eyes, hip. Eyes, hip. Eyes, hip. Eyes, hip. Hip. Eyes, hip. Alright? So that was partly of the purpose of the study. Let's finish up with the 2 forms of Ripo that we did. Ripo number 1, stay up here. This is not going to require a turn, it's just an entry. So we enter, we slide, and we cut. And with the second one, we enter, we step, and we cut. Okay, so if maybe don't get confused with the tanto, let's just do it empty-handed. Okay, so Ripo 1, I enter, I slide, and cut. Then to the side, I enter, I level, slide, cut. Second one, I enter, I level, my second hand is going to work here. I step in, button down, and I cut. I enter, I level, and step in, and let that hand come down. The same side of that hand comes down, this hand comes up, and cuts. Okay, that changes level. So, Ripo 1, upper level. Second hand, Ripo 1, upper level. Ripo 2, lower level. Ripo 2, lower level. Ripo 1. Ripo 1. Ripo 2. Ripo 2. And let's finish off with a set of those, focusing on, it's a very basic, very simple movement, focus on your breathing to finish off, kokyu dosa. Okay, so, go. 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 Again. Go. 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 That's 1. Go. Okay, let's finish up. Ready? Hey! Arigato gozaimashita. Thank you very much.